Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
PENSES brother, I regret taking Muhammad's appointment. My biggest mistake. Now, for some time now, we've been having a very beautiful debate with Dr. PENSES. He corrected us that he is not PENSES' elder brother, but younger brother. There are 2 years in between them. This is Dr. PENSES. He's an interesting person to debate with. He's very knowledgeable, and he can also be very humorous. He's an old folk, so he comes from the other generation into this generation and walking into the next generation. He's a man who has gathered a lot of experience, and I have a lot of respect for him. How did this debate start? Well, he put out something on Twitter, now called X. That was when Muhammad had just returned from the UN to a tumultuous welcome. In fact, this welcome organized by government officials. I am told that it was organized by Ablakwa, but he himself has denied it, that he didn't. So who organized it? Is it necessary? Or we are just excited that the president on arrival was met with so much joy? Muhammad had gone to the UN and he was able to get the whole of the world, at least 120 countries coming together to say, we agree with you. Oh yes, the resolution. What is the resolution? Slavery is the gravest crime against humanity. 3 countries refused to think properly: America, Argentina, and Israel. 52 countries cowardly ran away from responsibility. My brother, my sister, the most important thing is that none of these countries was able to stop the acceptance of the resolution. And that is what we are happy about. A Ghanaian president achieved that. So he arrived in Ghana. Whoever organized whatever, people met the president at the airport and they were excited. Dr. PENSES didn't seem to be very excited about that. So what did he do? He went on X and put it out glaringly that it was insane to have government officials like that welcome the president at the airport. And somebody drew his attention to the fact that his own brother, John Evans Atta-Mills, aka Asumdwehene, when he returned from one of his numerous health check-ups in the United States of America, neglecting Ghanaian doctors and Ghanaian hospitals, he was also welcomed. In fact, even bigger than what Muhammad had. And then he came back to explain that that was a special occasion. How special was that? Oh, my brother was in a very bad condition. And when he left, many were those who said he was dead. So when he arrived alive, people were excited and had to meet him at the airport. My brother, my sister, I did not agree with this man here called Dr. PENSES, who I have a lot of respect for. What I said was very simple, and we played it back. Today, we're not going to repeat it. But essentially, what we said to Dr. PENSES, Doc, your brother's health was not more special than the arrival of President Muhammad after getting that resolution on slavery passed. If you agree with me, then we don't have a problem. My brother, my sister, but he came back to say that he actually told his brother, his elder brother, John Evans Atta-Mills, after he arrived to that tumultuous welcome, that it was insane to have allowed that. But when he came to Muhammad's tent, he decided to go out playing to the gallery. My brother, my sister, he explained why he did that. And today, my brother, my sister, we're going to put it out. In fact, Dr. Cadman Atamils, over the weekend, decided to write me a love letter. And I am excited because I love debates. I can't wait to have this wonderful man sit in front of me with a microphone in between us to look at very beautiful issues like this. Let us go to Twitter, now called X, and see what the wonderful economist put out over the weekend. This was what he said. He said, "Come again, Black Rasta, the sequel. I listened to your attempt at a rebuttal of my opening salvo. I was incredulous." I don't know if he wanted to say it was incredulous or what it is here. But I think that he wanted to say it was incredulous. You know, sometimes some of these things happen. Maybe I should have listened to the advice of people that I respect who counseled me not to draw attention to you, because they claimed I wouldn't know that you are a paid political character assassin. This is what the honorable man, Dr. Cadman Atamils, said. That people that he respected told him that I am a paid political character assassin. And you all are here. And you know exactly who Black Rasta is. In fact, later in this epistle, he says a lot of things that I did not know about him. Maybe I want to draw his attention to the fact that this is the other side of Black Rasta that he doesn't know. I've never been paid by anybody. Nobody can come out and say, I have paid Black Rasta a penny to do anything for me politically, to spin things around. No, sir, we only deal with the facts. That is why this place is called the headquarters of the truth. Over 30 years of experience, my brother, my sister, right here, talking to you and speaking my mind. Not one man. Many of those we started with, they've fallen by the roadside for one reason or the other, but we keep soldiering on. Not because of might, power, and strength, but simply because we have stayed glued to the truth. Nobody, dead or alive, can ever say that I am a paid character assassin, and that is more than glaring. Can I ask you one question before I continue? When you were with your brother, did you ever see me around your corridors? That tells you that Black Rasta is not even easy to see. I don't go to discotheques. I don't go to places people go to. I am a hermit. I hide and pray. And I get glued to the sentiments of the people and the prosperity of society. Better still, the well-being of society. So to say that your friends even conjectured that Black Rasta might be a paid political character assassin, I take serious offense to that. And I think that the people that you respect, you claim you respect, think twice about them. These are not people who are supposed to be respected. They are character assassins themselves. Can I continue now? Now the narrative again was A, full of easily verifiable false statements. So he said I made false statements. B, vicious distortion of my comment on the airport reception. Shocking because my statement on the airport reception was written. C, illogical. I don't share and never had private moments with JDM. So how should or can I communicate my views to JDM the same way I did with my brother? Can you imagine this? Dr. Cadman Mills, you are a senior member of society. There's no day, and please don't be hypocritical about this. You will call Mahama on the phone. If you don't have his number, even the ants and cockroaches in your womb, they have that number because you are a senior member. Don't underrate your power and yourself. Today, I believe if you call Mahama, he will come running to your house for advice because of who Atamils was to him. So don't play hypocrite. It's unfair to say you don't have the relationship you had with your brother, with Mahama. Yes, it might not be everything in total, but at least a call to them. Even me, I call him time after time. 100 calls, he might just answer one. Sometimes when I'm impatient, I just leave a message. Whether he sees it or not, I have made my mind known. So I find this a little funny to say I don't have a relationship with Mahama, and therefore I cannot convey my message to him. I have to go to social media and talk to Mahama, a senior citizen. No, this is quite nauseating. B, proof that even though you claim you respect me, and I do every day, anytime, I would say that. I guess because AI, which by the way can flip, flip. Yes, AI, which by the way can guess, because AI, which by the way can be full of mistakes. Yes, AI, which by the way can be full of mistakes, claim that I was a prominent economist. You have absolutely no clue about me, reason or history of my political activism. And yes, my political convictions that I try to draw attention to in my academic writings on the international economic order, in unequal exchange and structural adjustment, my blog, Savor Democracy, and lately on social media. I have to agree with you. I don't know politicians. I am so ignorant about the personal lives, sometimes even the public lives of politicians. When I criticize the content, not the personality. That's how come I meet a lot of politicians and they expect that I should know them. And I don't know jack about them. Because the last time I talked about them, it was because of something they did. And once I spoke about it and addressed it, I took the personality out of my head. Gone. To be honest with you, I don't know you. Except that you are a brother. Two, a man that we all loved and appreciated. But a few of the things that you wrote that I was privy to gave me a lot of insight into who you might probably be. Dr. Cadman Mills. And I have a lot of respect for you. Basically because of your brother, John Evans Atamis. And also because of how eloquently you write. How sagaciously you write. So I love you. Okay? Because I love academics. I love people who write well like you. Beside that, I must tell you that I don't know you. Okay? So you are right. Now for the mundane. Now that it makes any difference to me. Not that it makes any difference to me, but I am not the elder brother of President Mills. In fact, I am not even his twin. Even though I am always very flattered that Google insists that I am. I will be 80 years in a few weeks. And trust me, I feel and assume my age. President Mills would have been 82 in July this year. Make of it what you please. So certainly, you are the younger brother. Kudos. You come from the same family as a great man. And for me, you are a great man too. Flip. This is the person we're talking about. So that was what he wrote over the weekend, and it's not ended yet. I did not criticize President Mahama for the airport reception. For all I know, President Mahama, much like President Mills, had no clue that such a reception was being organized for his return. And I am very confident that President Mahama, who has developed a habit of always surprising me, and very positively, would have reacted exactly the way, same way as Okujeto Ablakwa, his hand-picked foreign minister, did when he became aware that a surprise welcome of captive foreign ministry staff. Look at how he describes them. Captive foreign ministry staff. The man just came out of a UN meeting talking about captives, slaves, reparations, and is using the same language here. Captive, it means they were forced to come and welcome Mahama. That's his opinion. Let's go further. Now, well, he says, had been organized to meet him at the airport. So those captive foreign ministry staff. Now, on the same day, I commented on Ablakwa's reaction as tongue-in-cheek and yes, mocked his African tradition. Were you aware of that? No, I wasn't. I wasn't. Again, I don't follow you that much. It's only when the news people pick what you write up that I decide to go after that and do a bit of reading around you. I won't say I do too much reading about you because I have so much to read. But I try not to be unfair to you and to any other person that I decide to pick on and make my comments on. Can we go on? Where I questioned what the Ghanaian, in fact, African tradition of civil servants being encouraged, advised, or feeling that for their career advancement, they have to be seen at airport send-offs and welcoming ceremony, waving little flags, seated, because they were probably very tired and looking very much like they would rather be somewhere else. Trust me, Black Rasta, I don't need any education from you or anyone else on how historic Ghana's drawing attention to the odious crime against humanity that slavery was. Indeed, if this had been a genuine, popular, and spontaneous public welcome, not restricted to government appointees to welcome President Mahama on his return after such a historic feat, I, like you, would have been amongst the first to be there, with a brass band, shaking my old bones and screaming at the top of my voice. So the point is that it was not even announced that the president was arriving on the day. I'm sure if it was, a lot of people would have come to the airport, inundating every space of the airport. So it's better to keep it silent and invite a few people to come to the airport. Black Rasta, I see you characterize yourself as a radical patriot who puts Africa first, presumably in your political commentary. Like you, and I see myself as a radical African economist who comments, engages, and encourages public debate so that the right policies are prescribed by international financial institutions and government officials for Africa. I have always done this without asking for or expecting a job. On the contrary, I have been fired from jobs for my activism. Congratulations. You are my friend then. Maybe my mentor. I love people like you who will put their jobs on the line just to do the right thing. Pan-Africanism. You are my mentor. I have a lot to learn from you, Cadman Mills. I would strongly recommend that you read this book written by a Ghanaian on the contributions of notable African, including Ghanaian radical social scientists, to the debate on neocolonialism, dependent development, and the liberation of Africa. Flip, quick, please follow me. I believe I play a useful role on social media and my social commentary because I specialize on debunking and questioning seemingly good policies, which are indeed fallacies. I call them mindless populism. Mindless populism, such as the one you seem to endorse with unrestrained passion. So in your opinion, I am engaged in fallacies and mindless populism. And when I give it back to you, you can't sit. You see, any which way, we will continue, such as the one that you seem to endorse with unrestrained passion. I cannot stress enough how and why I totally disagree with you that it will be good policy for Ghanaians to insist that senior government officials should be made to seek medical treatment in the country. I formed this view when I lost a very dear friend because our hospitals are inadequately equipped to provide for the basics such as a bed for care for the majority of the population. And I sincerely believe that this should be the priority of priorities. So he says he actually disagrees with this. Hold it there. Let me go to that again. He says, I cannot stress enough how and why I totally disagree with you that it would be good policy for Ghanaians to insist. So for him, no. Senior ministers, Ghanaians, any other person can fly out there because our hospitals are bad. But let's go deeper. Maybe there's something in there that will explain this better. Fly. But Black Rasta specifically wrote about my views on heads of states getting medical treatment abroad on X and made my position crystal clear. Were you unaware? Again, I do not follow you. If you were not aware, why would you comment on my views when you are clueless about them? I commented on what you said and I drew inferences from what you said. Simple. And if you are aware, you could have stated that you disagreed with my insistence that my brother should be treated abroad, where he had his medical record. So you see, he agreed that his brother should be treated abroad because Ghana has hospitals that are not good, sometimes no beds. Was it not your brother's duty to fix that? So if you insist that people like your brother should fly out there and get treatment, what happens to me? Who gave him a vote of confidence to be in there, to deal with me? I don't get it. Cadman Mills here is saying that he believes that anybody in the capacity of his brother should actually fly out of the country to seek medical attention. He has no problem with that. Because he lost a family member or a friend to our bad hospitals right here in Ghana. Whose duty is it to fix it? The people we elect into power or us? Who? What are our taxes for? And interestingly, when Atta Mills flew out of this country, it came out, though this is just an estimate, that he probably spent about $5 million American dollars on the numerous times that he went to the hospital. At the same time, the president of Zimbabwe, and I'm talking about Robert Mugabe, was spending $1, $2, and $3 million every time he visited. American dollars. $3 million he paid to Singaporean doctors to treat him, according to the BBC. And the finance minister of Zimbabwe agreed to that. So how much was Atta Mills spending? I'll show you a report by Ghana World right after this one. How Ghanaians were so frustrated and wanted to know how much their president Atta Mills was blowing on American doctors. The same America that wanted homosexuality to be legalized. And Atta Mills stood on his 2 feet and said no. He was going to them for treatment. My brother, my sister, and blowing our money on that. And Dr. Cadman Mills says it's okay. Simply because he was president. He could blow the money. And he was not ready to even tell us how much he was blowing. Should we not know? Yes, it's not by force that we should know how much he's blowing. But democratically, accountability. Tell us how much Mr. President is blowing on flying out of the nation, going to America, and treating himself. Cadman Mills said there was nothing wrong with that. Everything was okay. Kufuor sat in this country, had the whole major surgery. Kufuor is still alive. The American doctors couldn't save Atta Mills from the icy hands of death. And I'm very careful when I say this, out of love and everything, but the point has to be made. My brother, my sister, the money at Tamils was blowing on American doctors. When I show you that report later, could have fixed a whole hospital that he wouldn't need to fly. But no, he preferred to fly. And Cadman Mills endorsed it. That's what we are talking about. We are debating. Okay? But how dare you call me the unprintable names you called me for genuinely believing that it will be the wrong priority for Ghana to be building medical facilities to treat the rich man's diseases. Which one is the rich man's diseases? So if it's a poor man's disease, it's okay to die with that. I don't get it. Which one is the rich man's disease? Which one is that? Cancer or malaria? Tell me which ones are the rich man's diseases. It was rumored that Atta Mills had cancer of the throat. Is that a rich man's disease? I want to know. Black Rasta, I could write volumes on some of the statements and attributions that you made that were not just atrocious, but totally uninformed. But I will address only one for now to set the record straight. I consider myself to be President John Mahama's biggest cheerleader, especially, of course, when I agree with him, which I almost always do. And I do it publicly, not behind closed doors, because I want everyone to appreciate him. If you check my timeline, I have stated that I am in awe of Mahama's government for being a listening government. Effusively praised him for his stance on soul sourcing, campaign financing abuses, his leadership style, and that of his ministers, etc., etc. No amount of twisting facts can change that. I put it on the public record. Here is a small sample. I own them, and I make absolutely no apologies to you or anyone else who insists that Cadman Atta Mills hates John Dramani Mahama. You wish? No, I don't think that I said that. I'm very careful when I use the word hate. I don't think that was what we said. I said that you probably have sour grapes. And two, that you probably wanted to make the government unpopular. I never used the word hatred. So don't twist my words like you claim I am twisting yours. I am also not bitter because John Mahama failed, and this is very important, failed to give me a job in his government. I have been on early retirement since 2006, in part because I don't fare well in jobs, as in reporting to others. Besides, I hate having a job because my employers are often trying to fire me and sometimes succeeded. I even hesitate to do consultancies, which I solicit when I am broke. And that's very, very, I'm looking for that word, honest of you. That's very honest, that very plain of you. My daily rate is ridiculously high, so I can do just a few days and pay my debts. Because you have to report to someone. Okay, well, I accept advisory roles and roles where I provide oversight. For the record, I did not consider myself as being employed by my brother. I shared my views with him, which he could take or leave, and often royally rejected my advice. It was a paid advisory role, which I believe is different from being employed by the people you advise. I leave that to your judgment. Oh, my brother, I was advising him and he was paying me, but I was not employed. Yo, Mate. I had hoped to play the same role under Mahama. 1-0. Listen, this is the most important part of the thing. And I stayed on for 4 years, but it was nothing short of a disaster. Those who know me know that I thought staying on after my brother's death was the biggest mistake I made in my career. Through no fault of Mohammed's. I was not thinking straight. I should have known better. At my age, this is a mistake I will never make again. I will continue speaking my mind and offering my views on where I think Ghana should be heading. I will continue to draw attention to myself and those that I think hold similar views as I do, and especially to views that I hold dear. Whether Black Rasta likes it or not, I will bring myself. You ask me what I want. I will not beat about the bush. I want the next NDC leader to be someone who comes closest to what I consider my wing of the party, which I have also publicly identified. I will elaborate on this, what I propose to ensure that I support such candidates if they present themselves, or make sure they are recruited. In that context, it will be clear why I think it will be a political mistake at this juncture for every eligible potential NDC candidate to present himself or herself as a Mahama clone, which I will also define. Brace yourself, Black Rasta. Stop this mindless political populism. So that statement has returned. The fallacies, political populism, as attributed to me. Playing to the gallery, calling names, and unseemingly theatrics. To return the compliment, you are bigger than that. Dash it away. Okay. So it's very simple. This is what Dr. Cardina Mills wrote. I mean, he's on retirement, so he has a lot of time on his plate. He can write a lot of things, and this is the time to be able to pick up a lot of wisdom from him. A great man like that. He made it clear that it was the biggest disaster for him to work under Mahama and take his appointment during the Mahama 1.0. Because at the time, probably after the death of his brother, he wasn't thinking right. And he wasn't probably doing the right thing. I don't know what became of that. Whether he was fired or they just left him on as a charity material and then just decided to give him money for doing nothing or for not thinking right. Whatever it was, Dr. Cardina Mills didn't go into detail. But that's what he said. And with all respect, I don't believe in government officials flying out of the country to go for treatment. The more they do that, the more our hospitals will collapse. And that's the point we are making so clearly. We can disagree. That's why it's a debate. The money Atta Mills spent, $5 million plus American dollars, as alleged, because he never put it out, could have built, in fact, equipped a whole hospital to the point that whatever he had could have been treated here. But no, he preferred to go out. In fact, at the endorsement of his brother, Dr. Cardina Mills, neglect Ghanaian doctors and hospitals and go there. And he still stands by it, according to him. Now let us recap when they wrote via Ghana Web that beautiful piece. What was the headline like? Ghanaians wanted to know. Taxpayers demand Mills's medical bills. Marara, and this was July 2012, a few days before Mills passed on. Ghanaians wanted to know. The president had been absent, flying left, right, and center at the taxpayers' cost. Can you at least have the courtesy to tell us how much you are blowing on yourself? Yes, you are serving us. It's our duty to take care of you. But what happened to our hospitals? What happened to our doctors? You fly with your entourage every now and then. And when you read it, you will marvel. Run it, my youth. Now, Ghanaian taxpayers are asking government to disclose how much it has spent on President John Evans Atta Mills' recent medical trip to the United States of America. Now, the taxpayers believe that they deserve to know how their monies are spent, apart from concern that he is wasting so much state money on his trips abroad for medical reasons, there is also concern about his long absence from work because of the frequency recurring medical checkups. Now, the BBC last week reported that President Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe draws $3 million American dollars from the treasury each time he travels to Singapore for medical checkups, a statement that was confirmed by the Zimbabwean finance minister, Tendai Biti, of the coalition partner, the Movement for Democratic Change. Now, Ghanaians deserve to know how their money is being spent. President Mills did not spend his personal money. Ghanaian taxpayers' money or the oil money would have been used to offset the medical bills. Justice Boateng, who works with Ghana Revenue Authority, has stated. GRA, flip the page. And listen, remember, the president went with his entourage, and they were in the US for the number of days he spent there, he added. Now, Joyce Bubuame, nurse at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, stated, who knows, the amount spent in US might have been enough to equip at least one hospital in Ghana. It was the biggest embarrassment that our president went to the States for his medical treatment. We must be told how much it cost the Ghanaian taxpayer. Dash it away. So Ghanaians were crying. And the Mills, he was blowing our money on American doctors, and we didn't have the right to know because of endorsements like this from Dr. Cardina Mills. For him, yeah, it's okay for you to fly out of the country and go and do whatever you want, government official or no government official. After all, our hospitals here are bad. Who is supposed to fix that? Who is supposed to fix that? Let's see how Atta Mills arrived in the country. And look at how they mocked him by making him try to jog or to trot or to hop, whatever you want to call it. That's the plane. It arrived. Napoleon Akitito reported for GTV News. And look at the teeming number of Ghanaians who came out there to welcome the president, because it had been rumored that he had died. Mahama was standing by him. He was shaking hands with the people, okay? And watch him. That's Mr. President. Yes, he arrived. And they made him stand at the tarmac, for only God knows how much he kept that pace. And look at him. They are making him jog. You see that? Can you see that? Yes, they are making him jog. He's trying to prove to the people that the American doctors are better than the Ghanaian doctors. You see, they are better. Yeah, better than the Ghanaian doctors. Better. Can't we see that I'm well? Then all of a sudden, it was time for him to address the Ghanaian people. And that was where he betrayed our millions that he used to treat himself. That was where he betrayed the American doctors. That day when I heard him, I wept. Is this what the president says? He's healed? He's strong enough? Is that it? Oh my God. I remember when it was rumored around that he wasn't well. And he said he was healthier than all his political opponents who claimed he wasn't. And that they should bring doctors to test them, and they will see what the truth was. Let's listen to the president. Okay? Talk. Min kai wu yao, as they say in Akan. It's not to be able to remind you of bad things. But that was how they mocked him. The guys were happy to have him there. So sick, so they could do whatever they wanted to do behind his back. That's my opinion. Listen to the president.
I have just arrived from the US, where I undertook a regular medical checkup. Thank God everything is okay. But let me explain something. It is my tradition to have regular medical checkup in Ghana. However, my doctors felt that for one or two reasons, which required more comprehension, we will go outside the country. Now, according to the Constitution, whenever I leave the country, I have to indicate. But thanks to each and every one of you, I would urge that we continue to pray for all those who decide to go for medical checkup or to go for review. I have a message. The report of the review tell me one thing, that the past, the present, and the future. And therefore, I should drive from here to the castle to continue my work. Now, let me tell you this thing. We should all work together. We in NDC, we have a job to do. Let us make use.
According to him, the doctors had cleared him that he was fit like a fiddle, so he should come and continue with his work at the castle. Was this a healthy man? Let's call a spade a spade. Let's put all the sentiments aside. All the millions went to the American doctors. They endorsed his fiddle-like nature, that he was fit like the fiddle. Go and continue. A few days later, he passed on. We were told it was a massive heart attack. But my brother, listen to the way the president was talking. If it was today, we would have blamed it on AI. We would have said it was AI. What point is Black Rasta making? Look, I think that it will be a very good policy for every government official, from president all the way down to every single official, to remain in Ghana, be treated in Ghana at all cost. Unless it is said that, oh, this treatment we can't find in Ghana. It's a disease that is only in the United States. For that matter, we don't treat it here. That's a different thing. Ablakwa agrees with me. And he keeps trumpeting that. Yet when they came into power, we saw the Vice President Jane fly out of the country. This hypocrisy has to stop. The nonsense must stop. When are we going to build our hospitals? When we all, at the least provocation, fly out of the country to treat ourselves? When are you going to deal with it? If you have food in your kitchen that you leave aside because there's another kitchen that provides you with better food, when would you improve the quality of your kitchen's food? After all, you are always excited at eating from another man's kitchen. Is that independence? Or independence does not include health? So when a Pan-Africanist tells me, oh, I disagree with you, every sick person, be it the president or whoever, if they want to fly out of the country to go and treat themselves, they should. No, we have to put pressure on you to fix the system. We have to put pressure on you. So it's not by force. If you cannot obey this, then don't be a government official. Simple, it's not by force. We want to see our hospitals work, and our black one agrees with what I'm saying. Many other people agree. Kufuor, he loves his life as well, but he sat in Ghana here and had a major surgery. Now here we have Atta Mills telling us that, oh, he had always had his medical checkups in Ghana. But this one, it was said that he needed some specialized, intense treatment that Ghanaian doctors couldn't provide. Whatever it is, my brother, my sister, we judge nobody. All we want to say is that fix the system. I want to die in a Ghanaian hospital if it comes to my time. I want to die on the Ghanaian soil if I will die at all. I don't want a foreign casket. I don't want a foreign morgue. Left to me alone, this is my home. So, finally, to Dr. Cadman Atta Mills, the debate goes on. And I would like to draw your attention to one thing. It's a debate. It is difficult for you to accept that you are wrong. And that is ego. You claim that your brother traveling out and coming here was special. But the UN resolution on slavery was not special enough for that. And in your opinion, if people had naturally come rather than being organized to come and stand there, it would have been more natural and you too would have been there. In default, they welcomed the president. Maybe it was impromptu, a knee-jerk reaction, which just fit right.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.